Hi, so we're back. Today we're looking at active isolated stretching again. So next in the series, what we're looking at today is the upper body, especially around the shoulder. So we're going to start today with looking at the pecs. So we're looking to stretch this part at the front of the shoulder. So as usual, Lisa is going to be my willing volunteer and demo it through again. Okay, so stretching the pecs. This is particularly good if you've got rounded shoulders, so your posture's a little bit poor, if you sit at a desk all day, or if you sit behind a wheel a lot.
Or you're a mum as well. That would be the other thing when you're holding your baby out front a lot. This is brilliant for mums.
So it's definitely good. Helps open you up and will help release a lot of tension through the pecs. So as you can see, this time we've changed positions a little bit because we need a corner. So you can either do this in your window, or particularly good is the door frame.
Yeah.
So, but for purposes today, we're just using the window. So as you can see, Lisa's just positioned her arm into the window. This is so that she can turn her body away from the stretch, okay? So as you can see, Lisa's just moving into the stretch. So with active isolated stretching, as we've gone through on the previous videos, it's important that you move into the stretch, you then generate that little bit extra stretch, hold it for 2 seconds, and then release out of it. So as you can see, Lisa's just going through a few repetitions. So at the point here, she's obviously got the arm parallel to the floor, so you can change the arm position if you want to access this different part of the pec. So as she's doing here, she's just taking the arm a little bit higher up. So this is just generating a different stretch across the muscle.
That's it. And where you feel it is a spanning where your arm joins your body. So if you place your hand over that joint there, then that's where you feel it. Sort of right down into the chest there.
So yeah, this is a really common stretch. This is probably my one of the stretches that I give out the most, especially like I said previously, rounded shoulders really helps open that up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It makes a big difference to a lot of people pretty quickly as well.
Definitely. So okay, so when I wouldn't necessarily give it with a straight arm would be if people are suffering a little bit in the bicep. I wouldn't want to put any pressure over that elbow. So what I would then do, and what Lisa does, is she does it with a bent arm, okay? So you can actually feel the stretch a little bit more when you bend the arm. So if you are struggling in the other position, it's worthwhile giving this a go. So a few key pointers here, Lisa.
I think the thing is to take your body away. So quite often, as Hannah said at the beginning, I use a door frame here. So if you put a little bit of pressure on my arm there. So quite common as people step through away, they're actually turning their body towards the arm, whereas actually we want to take the body away to again open that angle there so you do get the stretch across. But otherwise then it's exactly the same movement, just creating that stretch by stepping the body away and around a little bit to create the stretch through there.
So yeah, so going back to something we say in every video, it's really important that when you're doing these stretches that your body positioning is correct, so you're targeting the right muscles.
That's it. And just, when you do it a couple of times, notice where you're feeling it, and if it's not in the area where we kind of describe it, then that's when you need to reposition yourself and try again.
Okay, so moving on from that, we're going to start looking at the triceps. So the triceps, the muscles into the back of the arm, upper arm. So there's a couple of ways we can do this. So firstly, depending on how flexible you are, we'll just take the arm just over the head. So just as Lisa's doing there, following the same principle of the active isolated stretching rules of taking it into stretch, and then she's just with her opposite arm applying that last bit of stretch for 2 seconds and then releasing. So she's moving the arm into the stretch position on its own, applying the stretch and then releasing after 2 seconds. Okay, so this is also a really good one. Obviously we understand, and especially myself, I'm not the most flexible. If you can't get your arm overhead, or you're hunching the shoulders or not in that correct body position, there's other things that you can use. So we use a towel.
So, and that's it, and you might have seen as well, when I had my arm up, you have the option to either push on the back of the arm to extend it up, or to hold overhead. But like Hannah says, if that's a little bit of a reach, you just take the towel overhead there, grasp it lower down. Okay, again, make sure that the elbow is pretty much straight up.
Yeah.
Really.
So as you can see, Lisa's maintaining good posture here as well, keeping nice and straight. and she's just using the opposite arm this time to pull the arm down. So she's moving into position as much as she can with the arm that we're stretching, and then applying that stretch with the opposite arm, holding it for 2 seconds, and then releasing out of that.
So this time it's down the back of the arm,
Down
in
the
that
back
panel
of the arm,
there,
yeah.
that you want to feel the stretch. Make sure you do both sides.
Definitely. So we're looking at the usual, 15 repetitions, 2 seconds hold each time, and then repeat. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the shoulder. So we're going to, firstly, we're going to stretch the rhomboid area. So that little bit of muscle, so just in here, just in between the spine and the shoulder blade. So as Lisa's going to show you, we're just taking the arm across the body, so we're also almost making a scarf around the neck with the arm.
I like that analogy.
And we're just pushing it into position. So you're sweeping the arm across. Once it reaches its limit of stretch, Lisa's then going to apply a little bit of pressure with the opposite side and take it into that bit of stretch with the 2 seconds.
And I think the thing is as well, wherever you're applying the pressure, it's in between joints. So just like we said on all the foam rolling videos and stretching videos, that when you're applying pressure, you're not actually pressing onto any joints. It's on the muscle and bone in between. And
also that important thing that we've banged on about from day one with active isolated stretching is we are taking that limb into position of stretch before we apply the pressure. So we're not yanking it into position. No. We're moving ourselves, and then we're just getting that little bit of stretch with a bit of pressure. And obviously every time, each repetition, you should generate a little bit more stretch each time.
Yeah, and you'll feel it give a little bit more as you're doing it. So I think with that stretch, Hannah, which as Hannah's shown you is stretching around the back here, it's a good one to kind of explain the difference from a stretch that's done in many classes at the end, which is to stretch the shoulder, but is invariably done.
Yep, so the opposite stretch where you would, especially at the end of a class, or a historic stretch that you'd have probably learned at school, is pulling the arm across the chest, so straight arm. And what's important with this, Lisa, is to set the shoulder back, isn't it?
That's it. So you create the hold, as we have done on all the other stretches, in between the joints, then just gently pull that shoulder back against the pressure of your hand. And that's what creates the stretch then here in the shoulder, rather than round the back here. So it's just, you've got the options of both of those stretches, and they're both good to do, but it's just so you understand which movement stretches which area, so that you're clear on which to use when as well. So try both of those and make sure you can feel the difference between stretching here versus round here. And we will just continuing on from that, with the arm across the front of the chest, stretching over the front of the shoulder. Don't, as we see time and time again, is just people just going through the motions in the gym, just pulling it across. It is really important that once you are in stretch position, as Lisa said, that you are pushing that shoulder back. Yeah, so you pull back against the hand.
Okay, so that's a bit of upper body and shoulder work, so we'll see you next time.